Darren DuPont joins me on set, as we said earlier, my Tonto. Which
Hi-ho, Silver.
Hi-ho, Silver away. And look at this guy who looks like a Tour de France rider. Ryan Phillips joins us in the studio, everybody. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this guy. He played for the Regina Pats, so clearly I love him immediately out of that. Played a little pro too, right, Ryan?
Yep.
I understand?
Yep.
And this came across my radar last week on a Google alert that I have set up for the Western Hockey League. It says, former WHLer cycling across Canada to raise awareness for mental health. Hello! Two of my favorite things, recovery and hockey and the Western Hockey League. So, man, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very grateful to be here. Yeah, I guess like attracts like is my two favorite things too. Recovery and mental health, which I think are absolutely key components to having a harmonious communities these days in these trying times, so to speak.
Well, let's just, for the historians, you played with the Pats when?
I played with the Pats in 93, 94, and 94, 95 for some time before actually leaving the team. Just from, I think it was my own things, a few things with management, and
of course,
a few things probably with my battle with the bottle.
Yeah, it happens, right?
Yeah.
More than it should in sports. But, so tell me a little bit about this story. I don't think you just decide to pick up your bike and ride across Canada on a whim. So how did it happen, and where'd you start, and how's it going?
Well, it kind of goes back to 2012. I was in Cambodia filming a documentary film about happiness. And I got a phone call from a girlfriend of mine who is an actress out of Los Angeles, and she said, I'm doing this bike ride with 20 of these awesome people, and we're raising funds and awareness for human trafficking and child sex slavery eradication. And I said, well, God, my thing's on happiness, not, misery. And I said, well, what if we can show the positive aspects of people coming together like a mastermind, so to speak, and making a positive difference in the lives of others? And I said, you know what, I'm in. Flew to Cambodia, and next thing you know, I'm riding my bike across Cambodia. It was an unbelievable experience, and it was for a beautiful cause. I humbly say I was very blessed to get a TED Talks out of that as well, and I did it the very next year. And so this past, I guess, about 3.5 months ago, I was in Cambodia again. And I was I'd hit a depressed state where I was not feeling too good about myself. And I met this gentleman who was riding his bike across Asia, and just by fluke, I think everything happens for a reason. And he said, you want to come with me? I said, yeah, I'm in. And next thing I know, I'm riding my bike across 4 different countries over in Asia. And when I do something, I always want to do something with a purpose. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do it for mental health awareness. And, then about a week before it was done, I said, I'm going to do the world. And when I got back, I got into, getting some sponsors and a few things into motion. I got a camera guy and whatnot. And now I'm almost halfway across Canada. So,
wow.
It's just one of those things. And, I'm doing it for mental health awareness. It's for mental health awareness. And, there's obviously a huge message a huge message that I'm trying to convey. And someone that suffers from bipolar, PTSD, has had substance abuse issues in the past. My main thing is that this is not my ride. This is Spin the Globe. This is a ride to send a beautiful message, to help others. It's about giving others hope and giving them the courage to reach out and ask for help, because that's something that I wish I did earlier. And I would have caused my family a whole lot of grief, and a lot of people and a lot of relationships would have been salvaged.
No kidding.
Yeah.
But one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Isn't that the best?
One day at a time. One second, one moment at a time.
Yeah, one moment at a time. Yeah. Darren, you jump in any time.
I'm just enjoying this.
Clearly,
really, you guys can definitely go all day. Have at her.
Well, I'm certainly enjoying it. But you said your daughter was involved, and so did she kind of spur you on to do this, or what's the story there?
My daughter is a brilliant child, just like all kids in my mind, just like all human beings in my mind. Unfortunately, she got into some substance abuse issues about 3 or 4 years ago. Met a guy. Next thing I know, she's some things kind of schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, the whole mental health, soup, so to speak. And she's been in and out of psych wards now for quite some time. And, it's one of those things where I really just want to set a really good example for her, saying, you know what, if Dad can do it, because she knows my deal, we're very open with each other, then, just maybe she can, get some sort of motivation to, really just try to make something with her life. She's her own person, and I don't try to force her to do anything, but I do try to guide her in the ways of just trying to lead a clean life. And if you need medication, you need medication. If not, then you don't. But and
whatever gets you better.
Whatever gets that well-being flowing into your life. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
One thing I love about the dub is just guys that played and just seeing where they all go after their careers, whether they end as they're 20 or they go on and play pro somewhere, and then after that, you got a guy riding a bike around Cambodia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would never have thought that. I do remember you, Ryan. I was with the PA Raiders in those years that you were in Regina.
Yeah.
So we just missed each other there. Interesting that we would connect now.
Yeah, it's funny how life works, and it's one of those things where even though it was I was Ryan the hockey player, that's not who I am as a person. I'm Ryan. I'm not Ryan the hockey player. That's just something that I did, something that I that I was doing at the time. Just like you aren't your job.
Yeah.
It's just something that you do, and something that you're really good at because you got a great radio voice. But
the thing is, you run around, because I see it the same way. But so many people here are like, "Oh, you're not the voice of the Riders anymore. You are going to be okay?" And I'm like, "It's something I did for 20 years, and it's over." Like, I've said that to Darren a million times. People just don't get that, right?
No,
they don't get that mindset.
I saw that. It's funny. I was on Twitter and I saw Colton Tubert, the former Pat, is now coaching. I'm like, he's not playing anymore. It's been a couple of years. I think 2017 was the last time he played. The 2016-17 season, played pro overseas. But I'm like, wow, what's he going through? He's not a hockey player anymore. But it's such a short part of your life, your overall life.
But when you're a teen, you think it's your whole life.
And everybody sees the stars. It's like, that guy's a hockey player. But it's like, that's only like 4 years of his life, of his entire life. He's not a hockey player. He's something else.
Yeah, it's interesting, the whole hockey culture, behind the scenes. I remember I left home. I had just turned 16 years old, and I remember, laying in bed at night thinking about this awesome, host family that I'm going to have, and I'm going to be able to teach their son hockey, and all these big dreams. And what the biggest dream turned into a bit of a nightmare. It was some of the living conditions. The rookie hazing was
really bad.
Well, it's something that I'm really trying to. I'm trying to deal with right now. And I think it was Dan Carcillo that came very open, and it had me in tears. He was in tears, and he was talking about a situation. It's called the hot box. I don't really have to go into it.
Go ahead.
I will. Okay, I will go into it.
It did happen. I don't know if it still happened. I personally witnessed it.
I hope to heck that it doesn't happen. And if it does happen, whoever's involved is sick and twisted and disgusting, and so is the person who's letting it happen, most likely at the front of the bus, which happened in my situation. And I'm not trying to play victim role or anything like that, but there was, at one time it was called the Gong Show. If we didn't make the veterans laugh, what they did is they taped all our clothes up and tied them in tight knots, and half of us were inebriated, and more than half, all of us were. And next thing you know, we're in the back of the bathroom there. There was 9 of us. There was 9 of us back there, and I remember being so claustrophobic. And you
get locked in the bathroom of the bus,
and you got to get your clothes untangled, right?
And so you're not allowed to come out until you have all your clothes, untangled. And the veterans are all laughing and joking and thinking it's the funniest thing since Chris Farley and Black Sheep. And but that scarring, and I was that made me scared to go to the rink, and it also made me scared to even see some of these coaches, because to know that a coach let that happen, what does that coach actually think of the individual? So, and then you hold all that in. You don't want to tell your mom and your dad and whatnot. Like, I mean, I could go on with
and that's mild compared to what happened to some. It was horrible for you, traumatic.
Yes.
And it wasn't mild. I'm saying there's worse.
Absolutely.
Is what I'm saying.
And so many people have gone through it, right?
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't make you tougher.
No.
It breaks people. But anyways, we could go on all day, Ryan. You got some sponsors that you should probably mention that are helping you out with this.
Well, I definitely...
The hostel for one, right?
The hostel?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hostel is called High Hostels, and they're all over Canada, and they've been so wonderful. Every high hostel that has been in every city that we've been in has been so hospitable, and let us stay there for free. And I think one of the main sponsors I'd like to give a shout out to is the Canadian Mental Health Association, who is they've backed me from day one on this, and it's just I think I got a lot of sponsors, and they get blasted out on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, but I think the main people that I really, really want to thank the most is the people, the wonderful people along the way that have made this journey something that I will never forget as long as I live. And I really hope to ramp this up even more, and have more people. Like I said, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you're hurting, I get it. I totally get it. I mean, I've had the blankets over top of my head for days and days, and just an absolute train wreck. So if you're suffering from any mental health or addiction issues, please reach out, because you know what? You're worth it. You're definitely worth it. Your life is worth it. And the people around you, I know you have people around you that actually care. So, I think that's
the message. Yeah. Where can they follow you on any social media?
Well, I'm on social media at it's Ryan Phillips Warrior. And my cameraman, he's way better at social media than me. He's world trippin', and this guy's just a wonderful guy who's got all kinds of creativity. And if you follow him on Twitter, he's on Twitter too, at World Trippin'. But his Instagram is definitely tells some pretty cool stories.
All right, sounds good, Ryan. Safe travels. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
Good
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You betcha.
Get it in there.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.